gonna start. We're gonna start. Oh, actually, no. Pause it real quick. Pause real quick. So, welcome to the Mentee orientation. This is gonna be a crash course, your college crash course. So, what we're gonna go through today, we're gonna do the welcome. Who are we? What we do? Our goals. We are then going to define what Mentee is, so that you have a complete understanding of what your role is to our organization. We're then going to give you the Mentee Mentorship 101 rundown. And this is going to help you build strong relationships with your mentor. And you can take these and build strong relationship with other academics in other academic fields once you go on past the mentorship project. We're also going to give you a brief overview of the college process, just so you understand and you get a wide understanding of what the next couple months are going to look like for you. And we're going to give you some contact information that you can reach out to us if you need any help, assistance. We are literally all here for you. All 3,417 committee members are here for you. So we're going to first start with the welcome. Welcome. We are so happy that you have joined us, and we cannot wait to see what the next few months have in store for you. We know that you're all going to do amazing things, and if you don't, I will make sure that you do amazing things. Don't worry. I'm very persistent. So what is the Mentorship Project? The Mentorship Project is a national organization that seeks to aid underprivileged rising seniors. And this is going to be free, remote, and we're going to help you through the whole college process, personal process, writing, everything you can think of. If we have money to give you, we will also help you monetarily. If we don't, we're going to find all the other ways that we can help you to help bridge that education gap that is unfortunately very present within America, and especially within minority communities. So our initiatives: support mentorship networks. We want to make sure that you have a mentor that is willing to walk and support you through your entire process. So that's our biggest goal, our biggest aspect of our initiative. The next part is informational workshops. Somewhat like this, we've had one in the past about college. We're gonna have future ones about essay writing, picking the right school, a whole lot of stuff that are gonna be, I wish I had when I was applying to school. And these are gonna help you with things that you may not be able to get because one of remote learning that people may be having to undergo through, or under resources within your school cannot have a college counselor, or whatever the case may be. We're going to make sure that everybody gets the information that all the other kids are getting. We're going to make sure that we're all on the same ground. And then resources. We're going to have databases, infographics, videos, worksheets, scholarship sheets, everything, admissions counselors. There's no way that you're not going to succeed. We're going to make sure that you succeed. And so the mentorship project is made out of a whole bunch of teams and committees. And there's a whole bunch of them, but the ones I want you to focus on are mentorship committee. Mentorship committee is going to be a committee that you will most likely interact with the most. So these are the people who actually matched you, or are matching you right now with your mentor, and making sure that you guys are compatible, making sure that you guys are, working together and do projects like this. This is a project between the research and development and the mentorship committee. So we're going to be doing things like this. You can reach out to all the other committees, but I want you to focus more on the mentorship committee for right now. So I'm going to pass it along to my co-host.
Would that be me?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hey guys, again, I'm Naya, and I'll be going over these slides with you, So what is a mentee? Let us find out. So a mentee is essentially someone who has identified a goal and believes that the guidance of a mentor can help them achieve their goal. Meaning, you have the willingness to learn from others' experience, commitment to your personal and professional growth, and realizing that you get as much as you put into the mentorship. Why is mentorship so significant? For one, knowledge. Both you and your mentor learn from each other, which is awesome. Comfort. You as a mentee will know that you have someone to be there for you. And for a third point, connection. You will form a lifelong relationship. So kind of breaking it down, it's really up to you and your mentor to decide how often you guys communicate. As long as you really keep in touch, that's the most important factor in this. Don't forget that you are here to learn. It's important that you have the drive to understand and learn from your mentor. Don't be afraid or embarrassed to ask questions. That's what your mentor is for. That's what we're here for. Just ask away. Do what you gotta do. And you will get out, again, repeating the other point, you'll get out what you put into it. Don't see it as like just another thing to do on your long list of things to do, but in the end, like, everyone's here to help you. So do what you have to do again. And then for last, be aware of your energy. Your mentor is here for you and you only. Kind of adding on to the last point, positive energy, positive vibes equals positive relationship, you know? So have fun, stay safe, keep in touch with your mentor, and you'll be good. And I will pass it on to the next.
Can you see? You can't see it, can you?
Mm-mm.
Yes. Yeah. It keeps. Okay. Let's try something. It's getting disrespectful.
There we go. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about Mentorship 101, basically how you build a relationship with your mentor in order to get the most out of your mentorship and to make your relationship kind of rewarding and effective. So yeah. So there are 6 steps that I've outlined that are imperative to your mentor-mentee relationship. So establishing expectations, assessing needs, setting goals, staying in contact, listening first, and staying accountable. So the first expectation, or the first like kind of step to really getting to know your mentor, is establishing your expectations. So when you first meet your mentor, it's important that both of you and your mentor, know, understand what is expected out of your relationship in your first meeting. And so you want to ask any questions that you might have about the mentorship process, and have a clear understanding of the nature of your relationship right when you start. So assessing needs. So it's important that when you go to your, similar to the last one, it's important that when you go, you know specifically what aspects of the college admissions process that you want to learn about and that you want to work on with your mentor. So that may be writing essays, financial aid, which schools you want to apply to, all that type of thing. You need to know those things and be able to express that to your mentor in order for them to help you better. They need to know what you need help with. Setting goals. So there's a prioritization that happens in college admissions. And so basically you have to know what you need most help with and you need to tackle first, and then what can kind of come later. So if you don't know anything about where you want to apply any of that information, then that's what you need to start with first, is selecting a group of schools that you want to apply to. However, if you already know all of that information, then that's not something that you might want to prioritize, but every student is different. And so your mentor has to know like where you are in the college admissions process in order to kind of help you along. So even if you don't have goals, as long as you have the passion and the willingness to work with your mentor and have goals that you are willing to set with your mentor will guide you in order to make sure that your process is as easy as possible. Staying in contact, very important. So do not ghost your mentor. Do not, like, after 3 weeks of talking to your mentor, stop talking to them. It's important that you guys have a schedule of when you guys are going to talk to each other, when you're going to kind of get together and talk about what you're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about scheduling a little later along the line, but kind of making sure that you have at least some type of structure and like, okay, every month we're going to call this day to talk about this. is very important, because other than that, then there's no real connection happening, especially because this is a virtual kind of program that we're leading. So we don't want it to become kind of just something that you were involved in for a minute and then it was a flash in the pan. We want it to be something that you kind of can benefit from and refer back to all year. So that's our kind of goal with that. Listen, listen, listen. So this is very important. No mentor wants to have a mentee. Like, obviously we're not going to force things onto you, but no mentor wants to have a mentee who everything that they say, they do the exact opposite. Because that's the opposite of what's supposed to come from the mentorship like relationship. Their lived experiences are priceless. Like, we have been through this, and it was wild for us, and we didn't love it, but we had to do it. And now we're kind of trying to convey that information to you. So if you feel like your mentor is being like a little bit too pushy, like they're trying to push you to go to their school or something, like, obviously you don't have to take that advice. However, take their advice, heed their advice, at least listen and be receptive to learning from what they're saying, even if you're not going to take the advice. That's the important part. Accountability. So we expect the mentors that we gave you to kind of like do what they say they're going to do. So if they say they're going to go get you a resource, or they say they're going to go read your essay, we expect that they do it. However, it is important that that goes both ways. So it's important that when you say that you're going to do something, like, I'm going to have my personal statement done by this day in order for you to read it, we expect that you kind of live up to that expectation. Otherwise, there's not much that we can do, you know what I mean, to help you if you're not kind of doing your part and carrying your side of the mentorship process or the mentorship relationship. So if you feel like your mentor is not doing their part, be respectful to that mentor still. However, reach out to a TMP staff member and we can help you. Either we can talk to them or kind of get you acquainted with the new mentor. So just let us know about anything like that. Mandatory guidelines. These are so important. Okay, so be mindful of others' time. If you say that you're going to meet with someone for 15 minutes and then you end up meeting for an hour and a half without their consent, that is not okay. Because that person also has things to do with their life. You are very important to them nonetheless. However, they also have other important and pressing matters and other important and pressing people to talk to. So it is important that you respect their time and, you know, use your allotted time. If you have extra questions, then schedule another meeting with them on another time that they're available. But do not overuse or abuse your mentor's time, because that is the perfect way to have a terrible relationship with your mentor. Always show respect. That's another very important one, which is why these are all mandatory guidelines. But always show respect. So we hope that there's no reason that you'll be doing this, but don't fight with your mentor or go back and forth with them or that type of thing. Always show respect and have a respectful kind of relationship with your mentor, because they are trying to help you and they are trying to be, you know, the best mentor as possible. So let's just keep it cute, keep it kind of respectful and cordial, and we'll have a great time with it. Be open-minded. So that goes back to the listening slide that I had. It's important that you are listening and being open-minded to changing your like preconceived things that you want to do. Like when I was applying to college, this is an anecdote, I wanted to apply to 14 schools, and someone was like, you don't need to do that all right now. Like if you, like I was applying to U Chicago early decision, and so they were like, why are you applying to all 14 of these schools if perhaps there's a good possibility that you'll just have to deny 13 of them if you get accepted, and then you've wasted your application kind of money. And so I was like, no, I have to apply. And so I didn't end up doing that because I was like, you know what, they're telling me not to do it, but I still wrote up all the applications. And so then I got into Chicago early decision, and I was like, wow, like had I written all of these 14 applications, I would be stuck in a rut going and emailing people like, hey, not coming to your school, hey, not going to your school. So like, please be open-minded to like changing what you think you're going to do to a better plan. And that's my slides, I believe.
All right, thank you. So now I'm going to get into a quick college overview. you might know this, you might not know this, but these are just like general guidelines or general college things that everyone should know if you're applying. These are all subject to change because of Miss COVID, Miss Corona. So take this with a pinch of salt, but generally these should all follow. So the general timeline is that August, you start mapping out your senior year. So that's now. You should start thinking ahead of time of if hopefully college is your next step or some type of post-secondary education. So you need to start thinking about how we're going to make sure this dream becomes a reality. And that's why you need to start talking with your mentor right now and start thinking about how to schedule your next few months. They've gone through this. They know, hey, don't wait till the last minute, or hey, maybe you should start writing essays now, September. Please, 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 please start writing essays now. Do not wait to the last minute. I pray to God, Lord have mercy. You will thank me when you're sitting there on December 31st, relaxed, not writing an essay. I promise you, you will. Do not wait till the last minute. And if you have not started thinking about your personal statement, please think about your personal statement as you sleep tonight. Just let that be a thought. You need to have that done. We will be having writing workshops coming up in the next few weeks. I know a few of us on this call are going to be writing mentors. I will be writing mentors. I didn't have someone like Nico to tell me not to apply to 1,000 schools. So I applied to 20 plus schools and I wrote 40 plus essays. So I'm pretty versed at writing essays. But please don't write essays at the last minute. It won't be good. I'm telling you now, it won't. October, ACTs, SATs, or none. The reason why I put none is because with COVID, a lot of people are not going to be taking ACTs. This goes back to why essays are going to be so important. Because you will not be taking ACTs, or most likely won't be taking ACTs or turning them in, your essays need to be the bomb diggity. Like they need to be, if they're at 10, they need to be at 35 because that's what it's going to take to get into these schools now because everybody's going to be having competitive writing at this point. October 1st, FAFSA comes out. Please do not wait till the last minute. We are going to try to see if we can have like some type of financial aid, something so that we can go through the process because it can be daunting at times. There's a lot of information. They ask for a lot of information. It could be challenging at times. It can be really disheartening, but a lot of schools give financial aid first come, first serve. So the earlier you have this done, the better your college application cycle is going to go. And later on in the month, the CSS profile will also come out, which is a separate financial aid verification thing, which is usually for top tier or like colleges with like large endowments that give large financial aids. And this is just a second way of verifying that. Basically, they want to make sure that you're really poor. That's basically what it wants to do. And it's really disrespectful because they're going to ask you how many shoelaces you have in your closet and calculate how much it is. So it's really rude, but it's really important to get it done ahead of time because it took me a month to get it done. And I was working on it daily. So it takes a long time. November, December. If you are doing EA or ED, which I hope a lot of you do because it will save you a lot of time in the long run, these applications need to be done by November 31st. Somebody's calling me. November 31st. So that means that your applications, your essays need to be done before November 31st, maybe even before November. So you need to make sure that if you intend to do E or ED, you need to have that scheduled or start planning that out in advance. Regular decisions, you don't want to be December 31st, not enjoying your little cup of champagne that your mama slipped you. You want to be enjoying the holiday party. So please make sure that you have your things ready before December 31st. But your mentors will make sure that you have all these things done before then. March, pick your school, right? There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be factored in your college decision thing. And I had initially wanted you to, I made a mistake. I want you to look at your financial aid and, consider the money aspect before you pick a school. And that was my fault. I was supposed to do something. I forgot. Money is going to be a big thing. You do not want to leave if you can avoid leaving undergraduate with debt, do it. Do not go to a school for the name. I will tell you, it is not worth it. You are going to get into amazing schools. And just because one has a name and the other one may not have as big of a name does not mean that you're not going to get a quality education. Please, 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 for your sake, for your parents' sake, for your children's sake, 30 years down the line where you're paying $200,000 in student loans, please, if you can minimize debt, do it. That doesn't mean go to any Bogodogo school that you get into. That don't mean that. But please use financial aid as a necessary resource. Now, I would say there's nothing wrong to wait until May 31st to pick a school. There's nothing wrong with it. This is not a decision that you should take lightly. You are going to be in this place for 4 good old years. You want to make sure that you're going to somewhere where you can see yourself in a whole lot of aspects. Let's get into what those aspects may be. So there's different types of post-secondary education. There's colleges, and colleges often give 4-year bachelor's degrees of arts or science. And then there's research universities. Research universities, it's kind of weird. Research universities have colleges within them. And so for schools like Harvard, Harvard is a university. But when you apply as an undergraduate, you don't apply to Harvard University, you apply to Harvard College. And within a university, there could be a college of engineering, a college of music, a college of business, all these other colleges that you might have to apply to separately, but it's all part of one singular institution. There's liberal arts colleges, which are 4-year colleges that focus on having a well-rounded education. And a example of a liberal arts college is Chicago. Chicago is the University of Chicago, but I don't go to University of Chicago. I go to the college, which is a college within the University of Chicago, which is a liberal arts college. So I have to have a full-rounded education, which in our school is called the core, and it goes through all aspects or a good amount of academics. So philosophy, science, music, a whole lot. And this is really good for people who may or may not know what they want to major in, but this can also be used for people who want to apply to jobs, or you don't necessarily know what you want to do after college, and this will have you have a good round education to do a lot of things and take that degree for a lot of different things. And then there's community college and junior college, which are 2-year institutions that offer associate's degrees and other trade degrees, but you can also use that and transfer to a 4-year institution later on. So you want to make sure that you pick a school that fits one of these criteria for you. If you know, hey, I want to be an engineer, you may not really care to go to a liberal arts school because you know what you want already. If you don't know necessarily what you want, you might want to look into some liberal arts schools or a small college, just so you have that round education. When you're researching colleges, you are not going to school to be friends with Becky, Billy, John, and Fo. You're going there for an education. So your education comes first, and that's ultimately what should be your first factor when you're looking for a school. Do they have the right major that you're looking for? Do they have the types of research that you want to do, or internship? Do they have the types of partnerships? These are all important things because you're going to college, not to make friends. If you want to make friends, you could have did that working at Starbucks. You don't have to go to college and spend thousands of dollars for that. Next thing you do is consider the social factors. You do want to be somewhere where you're happy. So you want to make sure that they have the clubs and they have events and they have the social spaces that you are interested in. Do they give back to the local community? If they're, in a city, do they give back to the neighborhood that they're in? Is there Greek life? If you're interested in Greek life, how prominent is Greek life in the school? Is it exclusive? Is it this? Is it that? And the next thing is numbers, numbers, numbers. Numbers are important. They're not the end factor, but important numbers to consider are retention rate. You want to make sure that your retention rate at your school is high. The retention rate in America is very low. I think it's like at something like 43%. That's low. So you want to make sure that, in my opinion, I think that you should make sure that you go to a school that has a retention rate of upwards of 60%. And if you don't know what retention rate is, it's the amount of students who come back after their first year at an institution. And so you want to make sure that people go to the school and they stay at the school and they don't leave. Another thing that's important is diversity. Diversity may not be important to you, but if it is important to you, make sure that your school is diverse in a multitude of different ways, not just in demographic. They should be diverse in socioeconomic backgrounds, religions, a lot of things. And then another thing is your school size and location. You want to make sure that you want to make sure that you are at a school that fits your personality. If you want to go to a big school, you want to go to, 47,000 billion people, so be it. Make sure that you research that. If you want to go to a small school like Swarthmore that has a class, they have like 800 students on their campus, amazing. Make sure that you know what you want in a school. Make sure you know where you want to be. If you like hiking, don't go to Columbia. You're not gonna go hiking. You might want to look at places like Dartmouth and Williams. If you like the city, don't be looking at no farm school. Make sure you know you're gonna go somewhere where you're gonna be happy, where you know you will have a place away from home. Because you're gonna be at this institution more than you're gonna be at home, and that's just the reality of things. So you want to make sure that you're happy. Last thing is our contacts. So this is the TMP email. You can email it and you'll get a response pretty fast. You can also, if you have any grievances, you can email Abby. She's the CEO and the founder. That's her email. If you have any issues with your mentor, or if you have a fellow mentee, you can do that. You can email the chair and the co-chair. At these emails, you can screenshot this and keep it. If you have any grievances or you need to have any questions that your mentor can't answer. So thank you. Do you have any questions? College, mentorship, any questions? You can, there's a lot of things in the chat. Let me go look.
They're not questions. They're just us talking.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
When will we be contacted by our mentor, Justin?
When will we be contacted by a mentor? So for that person who asks, have you already been matched?
I registered like a long time ago, I think like the beginning of August, and I didn't get an email back or anything like that.
Yeah, so matches will not be done until August 31st. So if you've already, so there's been a first wave of people who applied like early on in July. So the first wave has already gone out, but there will be a second wave that will come out after August 31st. Not on August 31st, but sometime after then, all matches will be complete.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Will there be essay workshops? Yes, September 12th is the essay workshop, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So we'll be having drop-ins. So basically how it's going to work is you can sign up for I'm not sure how long it is, 15 minutes slot?
Yeah, 15 minutes.
With one of, I think there's 7 or 6 of us. And so we'll read through your essay, and then we'll kind of give you some feedback and critiques. And then also we'll go to very different types of schools, very different schools. So like if you want to like apply to like smaller liberal arts colleges, then like go with someone who's going that route for your kind of essay drop in. And then September 2nd.
I can look at the date real quick.
No, so there's an essay writing webinar, and that's September 2nd, and then there's that essay dropping at September 12th.
Gotcha. So September 2nd, webinar on essay writing, and then September 12th is the drop-in for like individual people. But anyways, so we all go to very different schools, so make sure you like go with someone who knows what those types of schools are looking for. And yeah, then you should be good.
Yes, and the drop-ins will be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and there'll be a whole bunch of people. We'll send out the sign-up sheets. It'll be on our website, but we'll make sure that everybody knows it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. How did we all know what we wanted to write about for our essays?
So for me, I wrote 4 essays. I the essay that I ended up using is the way I found it was I asked myself, what is the biggest part of my life? Or what is something that's so important to me that if it was to be taken away from my life, I wouldn't be whole anymore. And so that was philanthropy. And so I wrote about philanthropy, and I have my own singular definition of what philanthropy is. And so I wrote about it, and I wrote about how I learned it from my mother, who is a Sierra Leone immigrant, and how she taught me that philanthropy has nothing to do with monetary value, but more of you giving something of yourself, you sacrificing something to be the betterment of someone else. So that's how I thought about it. I found something that if it was taken from my life, I could not live. This can be an experience. This can be a singular thing. This could be a whole lot of things. But that's what I did.
Yeah, similarly to Destin, I wrote my personal statement. I think one of the prompts was like an activity that you couldn't live without or something. It was something along those lines. And so basically I just went through and I was like, what activity or what part of who, and that's very important in like all college admissions writing, is writing about something that is so important to you that without it, you probably wouldn't be the same individual, or you would be very different. You know what I mean? So something that's that important to you, like it has to show that it's important to an admissions officer reader, if that makes sense. Also, for like, if you were talking about, so that was for like the Common App essay, I guess. For the supplemental essays, it really depends on what school you're going to or going to apply to. U Chicago, she's wild. Like so there's obviously always there's the why this school essay. So the why this school essay, you really, like, if we're being quite honest, excuse my French, you want to kiss that school's ass. Like, you want to get in there and you want to talk about things that, like, you want to do your research too, because you want to know specifics. Like, I knew in my YU Chicago essay, I knew what room the $1 milkshakes were in. I knew on Wednesdays, $1 milkshakes were in this hall on this date from this time to this time. Like, you need to know your stuff on this school, because that's what they want to see, is that you know and that you actually want to go there. Then secondly, I'm going to let somebody else, because we have 3 Chicago people here. I'm going to let y'all talk about that uncommon essay. Everyone has like a kind of like essay that's like a different prompt from why this school. But why U Chicago, the U Chicago prompts, that's just a whole different conversation. So if you want to talk about that, drop it to my my drop in on September 12th and we'll talk about those.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Thank you for, yes. So if you I won't share my essay unless you come to my drop in. But if you want a gist of my college essay, I did do a TED Talk that's very similar to my college essay. You can just look up my name and it will come up. Do you want to say anything about it?
Oh yeah, no, go ahead about that question.
Sure. Well, I mean, first I'll answer the question about my personal statement. Mine, because during high school, my grades kind of fluctuated a bit, let's say. But it was also because I was going through a lot, personal life-wise. Like, my parents had gotten like divorced, so we had to move everything, and like it was just a lot behind the scenes. So my grades kind of suffered a bit. And my advisor was like, haha, you need to explain why your grades dropped, because those admissions counselors they're gonna see it and you're gonna have to explain yourself. So I responded to what obstacles have you overcome personal statement prompt, and it was just like explaining how all of that happened. So like I kind of incorporated the explanation for my grades while also having that obstacle. So like I mixed it in. So that worked out for me.
She kind of touched on something that's really important, is that like if you have like having a dip in your grades or having like a bad ACT score or a bad SAT score, like that's not like a end all be all, like you can't get into great schools. My GPA, let's not even speak on her, but I was able to explain it in my like essays and in like who I am, and you have to be able to prove that you're a great student in other aspects. So like if your GPA isn't great, that's fine, but then really try hard on your writing, or really try hard in your, well, I didn't really try hard in my test scores either. But anyways, like if test scores is what's gonna show that you're a great student, then show that, show what makes you great, and you'll be fantastic. So
Do you
question,
think
do you think
you can go ahead?
do you think writing about your family and their impact on you is a good topic for personal essays?
That's an interesting question, because I want to say yes and no. The reason why I say no is because, specifically because of COVID. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to talk about how COVID has affected them and which is going to relate to their family. I feel like if you're going to talk about your family, you have to think outside the box. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, write about your family. But if you have to think outside the box. How are you going to portray this in an interesting way? Because you have to think about, these people are going to read thousands and thousands and thousands of essays. So you need to make sure that what you're talking about it's different from the next person. Yeah, so that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, there's a right way and a wrong way to write about your family. Like, and your family is totally interesting. I support you, and I promise, like, I'm sure your family is great. However, when reading, like, if I was an admissions officer and I got, okay, my grandma is like the biggest influence in my life. Okay, cool. And then I click to the next one. Oh, my mom is the biggest influence in my life. Click. Sister. Click. Cousin. Click. Uncle Day Day. Like, I don't want to read over and over and over again about your family, and unless there's going to be something very like, yeah, and like Janora said, like, don't focus it so much on your family, more so on the change that has happened to you physically from that family. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want to read about your family. I'm reading this essay to learn about you, to accept you to my school. Do you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. But yes, if you do it the right way. No, if you're kind of nervous about it, like if you're nervous about writing about it, then there's lots of different options about you that I'm sure that are interesting. But yeah, Naya.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, like, I agree. I was just kind of thinking more like, instead of saying like, oh, like, these are like the biggest influencers of my life in a positive way, like, there's also like that negative perspective of things, like if you didn't come from a good household, or like you've seen things that impacted you and you're like, I never want to do that, or like, well, like, there's, if you find yourself in circumstances where you learn what you don't want to be like, I think that would be a really good topic to write about, because it's transformed you into a better person, even though like the circumstances may not have been as nice. I think that would be really powerful, actually. But besides that, I would agree with Destin and Nico. Just with everything else, like, yes, if it's the right way. But I also feel like you can almost write anything the right way if you just kind of know how to form it and word it. But it's definitely easier if you have that in mind. But yes.
Also, if you have a question, you don't have to type it. You can just say it. you know.
Yeah.
We want to have like a discussion with you guys.
I'll read off the ones that are typed now, and then if anyone has one to say, then they can say them. How did you approach your essay? Did you guys tell a specific story or experience to accentuate how your values developed?
How did I approach it?
So, okay, no, you can go ahead.
So I did mine with my experience. I kind of like what I like. Okay, with mine, because I played tennis, and so I kind of like. Well, no, never mind that. Never mind. Ignore that. Scratch that. You never heard that. Anyways, I led mine. I led mine with an experience, kind of like telling a story. But just more. But actually, okay. Story, but also background-ish. So it was like explaining, because mine was with the parallel. It was like the good, the bad, and the irrelevant, essentially. So I was like, there are good things in life, there are bad things in life, and there are things that just don't matter. Like good things like blah blah blah, or bad things like blah blah blah, or irrelevant things like I just got a new hat today. You know, like it's not really important. But so I just kind of kept that parallel within my whole personal statement. But I would say like I approached it with a consistent parallel, but also with the story explaining my background, but going into how my background affected me.
Yeah. I think there are so many different like really unique ways to like form your essays and make them like a different like kind of like form. Like my YU Chicago essay, I think it was. Yeah, I think my YU Chicago essay was a letter to U Chicago, and like that was my way of making it like that's not unique at all. Like the like it's not like oh my gosh cute. It's like other people have done it, but like I tried to make it to where it was like something that was like oh this is like kind of out of the box. Like this is like I don't know. Like this is a letter, and instead of a essay, that's something. You know what I mean? Like that makes it interesting. Um, so like I think there's so many different ways. Like so there's a letter, you can tell a story and then like have that story like anecdote, like that teaches a lesson or says something about what you're wanting to say in the essay. What I would not do is tell a story and the story is the essay. Like there's no kind of connection to anything that's like getting you like telling them anything about you. Do you know what I mean? Like I read this one essay one time, not one time, it was about a month ago, and it was just about a football game and how he made the last touchdown, and
Hey,
that was like
pause right there. Please do not write about sports. That is the number one no.
You can, but there's such wrong ways to do it. Like
if you write about sports, you have to like don't write about a game, right? If you're gonna write about sports, write about sports. Don't write about I played this game, I won, that's it. If you write about sport, you gotta be like I was playing tennis or I was playing rugby and like I learned this, and that and
yes from the sport. But like no. He wrote about this game where he made the final touchdown, and that was just his greatest accomplishment, and that he really just left himself in that moment. And I read that, and I am a very honest person. So if you come to my drop-in, prepare for me to read your essay. And like I'm gonna tell you what I think about it. So just be prepared. But anyways, it was a bad essay to me, and I told him that. But just don't let the story be the essay. You know what I mean? Like the story is not the essay because there has to be something. There has to be some substance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's go through so we can get through all these questions.
Yes. How do you know what you're going to write about? Is the prompt different depending on the school?
So
that depends.
There's one. So there's multiple. Okay. So there's your personal statement that you send to all your schools, and there are multiple prompts that you can choose, but they're relatively. You relatively can write about whatever you want to write, and you can just pick a prompt that somewhat relates to it. And so you can actually see the prompts if you're applying with Common App. You can see the prompts already; they don't really change much. So you can just Google them. And for each school, they might have supplemental essays. And so for Chicago, there are There's two. There's the My Chicago, and then the weird one.
Yeah, the uncommon essay. Yeah.
And then for Columbia, there was about 7 or 11. There was a lot. Stanford had 11 supplements.
Georgetown had so many, y'all. Anyways.
So it depends on the school. And some of them are like, for Chicago, there's no limit. If you want to write 3,000 pages, they're not going to read it, but
don't do that.
You can definitely submit it. And some, like Bowdoin, they only want 250 words. That's it. Nothing more. Concise. Easy. So yeah. Next question. Or does anybody have anything else?
I was just going to say, like, make sure. All my schools I applied to required several supplementals, and I wish I didn't. But anyways, so make sure that if there's no word limit, that does not mean that there's no word limit. And what by that I mean, like after, I would say I would get into the range of like maybe 750, 800 words. I would maybe up to like maybe 1,000 words, but like that 1,000 words is really pushing it. Like your admissions officer is a human, and so they're going to be reading that and they're going to be falling asleep. And when I tell you do not write more than probably, I wrote like 800 words tops for my supplementals. Like, please do not go overdo it. It's not going to get you anywhere special. Like, please, 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 please. Because I've read some real long essays, and it's just at a certain point you're just repeating yourself. Like, so just like say what you mean, and let's move it on.
If you find a college that you love but it doesn't have your specific major, can you build a major? So that depends on the school. Not every school lets you build your own major. But yeah, it depends on the school.
Yeah, I think we have like something called the new collegiate division, and you can basically like, it's for academic experiments, courses, programs, and you can like just put them together and make your own major. There are also like majors that aren't that really aren't focused on anything. So like the major that I'm just planning on doing is law, letters, and society, and there's no specific thing that you're like actually learning about. Like, it's not like a biochem major. It's pretty much just like a selection of courses over a certain domain of things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there are certain majors that just aren't specific to anything, that you can just really study what you want to study.
Yeah. Interdisciplinary majors are way easier to form. Interdisciplinary majors are way more easier to form than like solid majors. So it will be easier for you to build a major at a college or liberal arts than a university. Just because like if you're at a university, if you want to be, hey, you don't have a biochem. If you want to build a biochem major, you're going to have to get a biochem professor. You have to build basically a whole department. It'll be a little bit hard. It's not impossible, but I mean, it's not easy. But I'm sure if you want a major, you can build it. I believe
you can build. Yeah.
I think that's Genora.
Why did I decide to go to the college that I decided to go to?
Why did I decide? This is so funny because I just released a video and Nico answered this question.
Yes, you should go watch the video. I might drop a link. But I can start. So first of all, UChicago or Columbia have both been my dreams since freshman year. And I was like, basically, like, if I don't go to one of those two schools, I'm going to not go to college. And luckily, I'm very like small inconveniences. Don't be like me. Small inconveniences really just put me out of the game. But anyways, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to UChicago or Columbia, and it's gonna be there, and it's gonna be great. But basically, yeah, so there's a lot of different aspects. UChicago has fantastic financial aid, and that should be one of your things. Like, don't let it be the top thing. I wouldn't let like financial aid get in the way of me going to a school that I like extremely want to go to and that has great academics, because like that would be dumb. However, make it one of your things that you're thinking about. Yeah, financial aid is important. Academics, I really love the academic like programming. So like make sure that they have like something at least comparable to your major, or something that you can do that can like get you to where you want to be in life. And yeah, academics, financial aid, those are two things. Oh, also like the campus itself. I love the location and like the way it looks, beautiful. And that's it. Yeah, it's right behind us and right here. You can see it.
So this is Mansueto. And if you ever watched Divergent, this was Divergent. A scene in Divergent was filmed.
It was the erudite headquarters in Divergent.
Yes, right here.
That is it, right there. Yeah.
And this is right here is the Regenstein Library. Anyway, so I chose UChicago because it looks pretty, and it's known for being quirky. And I didn't want to go to an uptight school, so it was one of the big reasons.
Yeah.
And Naya's answering in the comments. So are there any like are there any questions? If you have any questions,
a question right here. I see a question. What clubs do y'all participate in at your schools? I'm guessing that means high school, going into college, like to get in. I'm gonna assume. Well, I was in student government a lot in high school. That was one that I think that I wrote about a lot. Student government, What else? I was involved in, did do a varsity sport, volleyball. I did it for one season. Um, I did a whole bunch of different things. I did like multicultural clubs, like Black student unions, that type of thing. So if that's something that you're interested in, then I would get into that. I did like kind of related to career, so mock trial, model UN, that type of thing. So all of those types of things are kind of the things that you want to be looking for, like career-based ones, just like fun ones. Those are good. Yeah, mock trial slaps. Yes, Jenny, I agree. Mock trial is just like really like the top tier. But yeah.
You can go, Naya.
Are you sure? I have like a list and like I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. So I did sports all 3 seasons. I did tennis, I managed wrestling, and I did badminton. And then on top of that, I did some clubs or programs: National Honor Society, Chess Club, Environmental Club, Restorative Justice Permeation Program, Student Council, Principal Advisory Council, and I don't know what else. But I just did a few things. Just a little
just
bit.
a few.
Yeah.
I just dabbled in a whole bunch of different things. Yeah.
So I did outdoor track and field, rugby, a cappella, student government, board advisory. What position? Yes. Oh, I did choir. I also was a researcher at Brigham and Women's Hospital. I did the Crimson Summer program. I did a whole hoop of things. What I want to iterate is that it doesn't really matter what you do as extracurricular. As long as there's a theme, as long as there's consistency, they don't want to see you do 3 billion different things, but you didn't like it, or 3 billion different things and you didn't commit to it. You don't have to be the president. You don't have to be this big old board member. As long as you're a part of something, you're enjoying it, you can show consistency. I would say colleges will prefer you do 3 things for 4 years than 7 things like you did 1 every year.
Mm-hmm. Stay consistent and do what you like, but also do things that just be committed. Like that's all that really matters. Like if you do 2 things and you do the hell out of those things and you like go and you're like really committed and you're like really do it and you like have things to show for it, and then in college they're gonna take that the exact same way as you did 5,000 things and we're kind of like half committed in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like so do things and be committed and be like really great at it.
Yeah. I wouldn't say quality over quantity because you can do a whole bunch of things and be committed to all those things, but you know. So are there any last questions? Because we want to be respectful of you guys' time. Anything else? I drop my email and my Insta ad. You can always email me. I go to sleep maybe once a year, so I'm never asleep. If you text me, I will be up. So you can email me. You can DM me. What else? If you're interested in a school that I applied to 20 plus schools. You can ask me questions about that. What else? And yeah, so if you haven't been matched with your mentor, you will be matched soon. We're finishing that up. I was literally matching before I got on this call. So we should hope to be finished by the 31st, and you will start getting stuff in the sequential weeks coming after that. Anything else you guys can think of? No?
Nice.
Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you all for coming. And enjoy yourself.
Yes. Live your best lives. Stay safe. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. It's hot outside.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Wow.
Yeah. Social distancing.
It's not optional.
Bye. Look at us waving.
You're welcome.
We're just sitting here waving.
Come on, Rocha. Yes.
Yes, living. BLM, Black Lives Do Matter, period.
They do.
Right.
Okay, looks like these people may have fallen asleep. Ooh, they've woken up. Okay, thank you guys. I'm just gonna kick them out and then.
Hi guys.
Thank you guys. I think it went good.
I think it was good.
Mhm.
We got more questions than I thought we would get.
Mhm.
Yeah. I felt like I was talking so fast.
I talked so fast. Like literally, I was trying to slow down. Like, you need to
I
make
felt I was
sure.
so fast. Yeah. How did you think it went, Melissa, from like the outsider perspective?
12 out of 10. It was great. It was beautiful.
12 out of 10. Oh, I need to send out the post evaluation.
I was sitting here, I read, and then all I got was like, "I love your accent." I said, Melissa, whose accent? She said, "You,
Your
you fool."
accent, you were doing a little bit. I do a little bit of Cockney, yeah.
That's what it was, yeah. Maybe the next one, yeah.
A little bit of a little.
Is you call it
Also, I
the
started
English
reading
twang.
my first slide, y'all. I started reading my first slide, all wrong. That slide was wrong. That slide had you and your mentee should mentee, and you should do this with your mentee, and I'm like, wrong.
I looked at that time date thing, and I almost cried. I almost turned off my camera and cried.
Yo, I thought the
Said-
time and date was wrong too. I was like, excuse me, because I sent it to this, and I was like, please tell me the time is right.
I said,
but turns out it was central, so it was right. It was 5:45 to 6:45, 7:45, 6. Yes, it's right. I was like, wow, like, please, Lord, tell me that I did not mess this up.
that was really good. I'm actually
good.
looking forward to the next one.
We'll have less questions there because they're not actually like applying to college.
That's true. That's true.
I'm so glad
Right.
that I'll never have to apply to college. Well, I'll have to apply to law school. But anyways, oh shoot, this one starts in 7 minutes.
All right, so I'm gonna move over to the other ones I can set up.
All right.
Bye. Well, I'll see. Are you guys? Nico, y'all don't have to come, but are you guys coming?
I'm coming.
Okay. Well, we'll see you. See you on the other side.
Bye.
I got friends on the other side.
You're trash. Bye.